Heidi, and today we're going to be doing a basic yoga flow for beginners with lots of modifications. We'll get started in child's pose. So let's bring your toes to touch and then bring your knees about shoulder width distance apart, and then we'll sit our hips back onto our heels. Stretch your arms forward and then rest your forehead on the mat. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Inhale and exhale. And take another inhale. As you exhale, slowly start to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. We'll pause here to breathe into the left side. Inhale to walk your hands through center. And then as you exhale, stretch over to the left. See if you can fill the spaces between your ribs with your breath along that right side. Walk your hands back to center. And then glide up to your hands and knees. So we'll stack the joints here, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and then spread your fingers nice and wide, pointing that index finger forward. With your next inhale, you're going to draw the shoulders back as you press the chest forward, opening through the collarbone. As you exhale, pull your chin to your chest as you lift your belly and round your spine. Inhale to lengthen forward. And exhale to round. Continue moving here to the rhythm of your breath, moving through these cat-cow. Take one more inhale. And then tuck your toes under and press it back to downward facing dog as you exhale. Take a moment here to settle into your down dog, lengthening one heel to the mat and then the other heel. Let's come to stillness, and then again, look at your hands. Make sure those fingers are spread nice and wide, the index finger is pointing forward. Slightly start to hug the elbows in again, and then can you bend the elbows just a little bit as you start to press your chest a little more back towards your thighs. Now start to bend your knees a little bit and see if you can pull the belly in as you try to lengthen the tailbone a little more towards the sky. Let your head hang. One more breath. Bend the knees more deeply now, look forward, and then take one step or several steps to the top of the mat. Separate your feet hip width distance, and then relax your belly on your thighs, bending your knees slightly. We'll reach for opposite elbows to hang into our ragdoll pose. It feels good here to shift a little weight to the balls of the feet. And then you can really feel that upper spine begin to relax. Release your hands to the floor. Heel toe your feet to touch. Halfway lift, inhale. So let's place hands on shins for this halfway lift. Think of again pulling the shoulder blades back as you draw the chest forward. And then can you lift your belly? Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, fold forward. Soft knees as you rise all the way up to stand, reaching the arms out and up. And then as you exhale, bring hands to heart. here, rooting down to the earth below? Can you feel your shoulder blades melt down your back as you try to lengthen a little taller through the crown of the head? Inhale, reach up. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Set your hands and then step your right foot back into your lunge. You want to see that your front knee's right over your front ankle. Let's come up onto fingertips here. As you inhale, draw the chest forward, right? So it's similar to that cow spine. As you exhale, can you straighten the front leg just to your ability as you draw your forehead towards your knee? Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lengthen and bow. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lengthen and bow. Inhale, shift forward. Set the hands, pick up your left foot, and then step back to plank. All right, if this is a bit too much, you can always set the knees down and try kneeling plank, but you're still making a diagonal with your spine, right? So you're in a straight line from the crown of the head through the knees. Belly is hugging in, glutes are squeezing. Again, slightly hug the elbows in, and then you can soften a little through the arms. Inhale, shift forward, set the knees down, keep hugging the elbows in as you slowly lower all the way to your belly. Untuck the toes, squeeze the legs together as you inhale into your low cobra. Exhale, release down. Lift your belly first, and then inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back down. One more inhale. And exhale. Press back up to hands and knees. And then tuck the toes and press it back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Inhale to extend the right leg up. Start with your hips square, and then see if you can extend a little longer out of that leg. When your next inhale comes, start to rotate the leg open. Can you reach the leg a little bit higher, then bend the upper knee. And then just notice here if you started to collapse into that left side, can you square the right shoulder to the mat, and then just look at the left toes. Make sure all 5 toes are pointing forward. Inhale to extend your leg, square your hip back to the floor. As you exhale, draw knee to nose, lift your belly and round, and then step the foot through. So maybe it comes about halfway, and then you have to boost it forward. So you can grab your ankle with your right hand, and then just give yourself a little turbo boost. This time we'll release the back knee down, and then inhale to rise into your low lunge. Can you think about lifting up through your low belly and trying to lengthen your tail a little under you? Take one more inhale here, and then as you exhale, come into a forward fold, top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach high. Exhale, fold forward right away. Halfway lift, inhale. Step your left foot back into your lunge. Come up onto fingertips, and then inhale, chest forward. Exhale to lengthen and bow. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lengthen and bow. One more inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lengthen and bow. Inhale, shift forward. Set your hands, pick up your right foot, step to plank. Pausing here to breathe, right? So you're fired up through the legs, belly is lifting up. Inhale, shift forward, and now you can set your knees down again for support if you'd like, or maybe this time, right from high plank, you lower all the way to your belly. Press the tops of the feet into the mat, lift through the core, and then inhale, low cobra. Let's pause in this low cobra, and then just see if you can hover your hands an inch off the floor, right? So you're feeling the effort through the upper back. Take one more inhale, and then exhale to release. Press back up to hands and knees, and then tuck the toes and press it back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. One more inhale, and exhale. Inhale to extend the left leg up. And again, your hips are square to begin. You should be feeling effort through the hamstring and the glute on that left side. Now, can you just think about reaching the leg a little bit longer? Now, with your next inhale, you can start to rotate that leg open, reaching it nice and high, and then bend the upper knee. And then just check in, making sure you didn't collapse too much weight into that right side. You're going to think of squaring the left shoulder to your back. Inhale to extend the leg, square the hip to the floor, and then knee to nose, pausing here, lifting through the core, and then we'll step the foot through, maybe taking that little turbo boost again on this side. Set your back knee down and then inhale to sweep the arms up. Again, you're going to think of lifting through your low belly, relaxing the shoulder blades down the back. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach high. Soft knees as you exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant your hands and then step back to plank pose. Pausing here in plank. For the purposes of this class, we're going to do low cobras each time throughout these vinyasa transitions. If you're comfortable with chaturanga and up dog, you're welcome to take those. I'll be going through those in detail in a later lesson. Inhale, shift forward. Set your knees down or not, and then slowly all the way to your belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back down. This time we'll see if we can press straight to a kneeling plank. So can you lift your belly off the mat first, squeeze through your legs, and then you're going to press up in that diagonal spine right up to kneeling plank, and then tuck your toes and press back downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. One more inhale, and exhale. Inhale to extend the right leg up. Knee to nose, pausing here, lifting through the core, and then stepping the foot through, maybe taking that little turbo boost. Let's spin the back heel down now. It's at about a 45-degree angle. And then you're going to engage your legs. We're going to come up to warrior one. Let's release our hands to our hips here for a moment in warrior one. In warrior one, you want both hips pointing straight forward. So we're going to see about trying to pull that right hip back as the left hip draws forward. If you feel like you don't have any space to square off your hips, go ahead and take that right foot a little more to the right. Right, so you want a little space in between the feet, like you're on train tracks. Now let's see if we can lift up through the low belly, and can you feel that tailbone lengthen a little under you? That should give you more of a stretch through the front of that left leg. Once you feel pretty steady and square, let's reach the arms up. Take one more inhale. And then open up to warrior two as you exhale. So in warrior two, we have a slightly different foot position, right? The back foot is going to be lined up with the back edge of your mat. Your front heel is lined up with your back arch. Our hips are now in an open position, so both hips are facing this way. Front knee is going to be right over that front ankle. And then relax the shoulder blades down. With your next inhale, let's reach and reverse this warrior. Reaching that right arm high. And again, in this reverse warrior, you're not going to be collapsing backwards like this, right? Think about lifting up to find the stretch along this right side. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, we'll cartwheel the arms down, coming back to runner's lunge so that back heel lifts. Plant the hands, and then step your foot back to plank. Inhale, shift forward. Maybe the knees come down. Lower all the way down. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back down. Hug the belly in. Can you press it up? Kneeling plank. And then downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale to extend the left leg up. Knee to nose. Let's pause here. Lift through the core. And then step the foot through. See that the front knee's right over that front ankle. And then we'll spin that back heel down to 45 degrees. Engage the legs and core. Rise up, warrior one. Once again here, we're going to release our hands down to our hips. Right, so it's going to be maybe impossible to square your hips completely, but you're just going to see if you can start to drive that left hip back as the right hip draws forward. And then notice how much arch you have here in your lower back. Can you pick up your low belly and try to get that tail just a little bit more under? Reach your arms up. Take another inhale. And then we'll open to warrior two. So I'm going to adjust the placement of my feet so that my front heel is lined up with my back arch. I'm really trying to square both hips now towards this mirror. Shoulder blades relax. Inhale to reach forward. Reverse your warrior. Remember about that lengthening stretch, right? So really finding that upward movement. One more inhale. And then exhale, cartwheel the arms down. Plant your hands, step to plank. We'll pause here. Inhale, shift forward. Hug the elbows in all the way down. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back down. Tuck the toes under, right? If you're feeling strong with these releases down, you could, from here, try to press straight to high plank, right? But plank means a solid piece of wood, right? So you can't have your belly sagging. You got to think about really engaging your legs, lifting your belly off the mat, and then if you can do so in one piece, great. If not, it's best to go to the kneeling plank, right? So let's try that one more time. Shift it forward, lower all the way down. Right, so from here, you're going to really squeeze through the legs, you're going to lift your belly off the mat, and then maybe you found that pressing straight to high plank was too much. So in this time, you're going to just set the knees down, legs are going to stay just as strong. Press it up, kneeling plank. And then downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Bend the knees, look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach high. And hands to heart. Chair pose. So in chair pose, you're sitting your bottom down, squeezing your knees and the inner thighs together. And then as you glance down, you should be able to see your toes. If you can't press a little more weight back into your heels. And now let's release our hands to our low belly for just a moment. Can you think about lifting your low belly and trying to lengthen your lower back? So all those stomach muscles are pulling in deeply, and then let's sweep the arms back up. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, and maybe decide to take your arms a little wider because you have a little more space there to relax your shoulders. We'll take a couple more breaths right here. One more inhale, and then bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift. Set your hands and then step to plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, release all the way down. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back down. Press up to plank or kneeling plank. And then downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale to extend your right leg up. Knee to nose, lift through the belly. Step the foot through, runner's lunge. This time we're going to be coming up to crescent lunge. So that back heel is going to stay lifted nice and high. Maybe you're going to take your right foot a little more to the right for a little more stability. Lift your belly away from your thigh and then sweep the arms up. So in this crescent lunge, can you soften the back knee a little bit, lift your low belly and get your tailbone under you. Take an inhale. Let's bring hands to heart as you exhale. Inhale to lengthen forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to twist from the belly, drawing the belly muscles in. You're going to bring left elbow to right knee. If that feels like too much of a twist, you're going to take your left forearm to your right knee, and then take your right hand, place it on top of your left hand. Try to press up and away as you twist your chest more to the right. If this all feels like too much, you could choose to set your back knee down here. Inhale to open up the arms. Take the bottom hand to the floor or a block. You're going to come up onto fingertips. If you have a block at home, you can use one. I don't have one here today. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, both hands down. Spin your back heel flat, and then we'll rise up to warrior two. Inhale, reach and reverse your warrior. Exhale to side angle. So your right forearm's going to come to your right thigh as your left arm reaches up. Think about really being strong through that quadricep. And you're trying to make yourself two-dimensional. Keep pulling the belly in. Keep trying to twist the chest a little more open towards the sky. Lift up out of that bottom arm. One more breath. Use the strength of the legs. We'll reach and reverse. And then we'll cartwheel our arms down back to runner's lunge. And then from here, you're going to step it forward right into a forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. And hands to heart. Chair pose, inhale. And so we're going to again find that nice stable chair where the belly is lifting, the inner thighs are squeezing. Let's bring hands to heart. Inhale to hinge forward. As you exhale, you're going to twist. This time we're going to go right elbow towards left knee. So we're twisting the opposite way we just twisted in crescent lunge. Right, so maybe your elbow reaches that left knee, but if not, it could go to the right knee. Right, you're gonna really try to think about pressing into the bottom hand to rotate your chest to the left, and then just glance down and make sure your knees are even. Inhale to open the arms. That right hand can go right to the floor on fingertips, right in front of your toes. Inhale, open up a bit more. And then exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And let's cactus the arms. Exhale, let go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back down. Press up to plank or kneeling plank. And then downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale to extend the left leg up. Knee to nose, hollow out the belly, and then step the foot through runner's lunge. And then setting up to come up to crescent lunge. So maybe the back foot hops a little in, or that left foot goes a little left. Engage legs and core, rise up. Same thing, we're gonna soften that back knee so that we can lift the low belly and lengthen the lower back. Take an inhale, hands to heart, exhale. Inhale to lengthen forward. As you exhale, you're gonna twist, bringing the left elbow or forearm to that left knee, right? So if you have to collapse that right side to hook the elbow, no good, right? You really wanna focus on keeping that bottom side long. So maybe for now, the forearm's gonna allow you to have a little more length. Remember that you can choose to set the back knee down here. Inhale to open the arms. Bottom hand can go to the block or floor inside that left foot. Left arm reaches up. Take one more inhale. Exhale, both hands down. Spin the back heel down, and then rise up, warrior two. Inhale, reach and reverse your warrior. And then exhale, side angle, forearm to thigh, right arm reaches up. Again, belly's drawing in, you're lengthening your lower back. You're lifting up out of that left shoulder. One more breath. Inhale, reach and reverse. And then exhale to cartwheel the hands down, runner's lunge. And then step it forward, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands to heart. Chair pose. And we'll bring hands to heart in chair. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, use the belly muscles to twist. The left elbow's gonna land where it lands, right? So if it doesn't reach all the way to the right knee, don't worry about it. Maybe just set it on the left knee. Keep your gaze a little forward. Press into your left hand and try to lift your chest up as you twist to the right. Glance down, make sure your knees are even. Inhale, open up the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank pose, exhale. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower all the way down. This time, turn your left ear to the mat. Sweep your arms at your sides with your palms up. And then just relax for a moment. Then we'll flip our palms to face the floor, bring the forehead to the mat. Zip up through the legs, squeeze through the glutes, and then lift your belly. Start to roll your shoulders up and back, and then start to float your arms as you start to take your gaze slightly forward. All right, so you're really thinking of drawing the shoulder blades back. We're coming into locust pose. If it feels okay for your low back, you can start to float your feet, but it's okay for it just to be hovering right off the mat. You're really thinking about getting longer versus lifting higher. Let's take one more inhale, and then exhale to release, taking the opposite ear to the mat. Set your hands by your ribs, and then press back to child's pose. Let's take a couple of breaths here. We'll just come up to a seat sitting on our heels. Shift your bum to one side so that you can stretch your legs out in front of you. We'll come a little more towards the front of the mat. And then just go ahead and roll down onto your back. Let's hug our knees into our chest. And then we'll take a little happy baby here. So you're just grabbing onto the soles of the feet from the outside. And you're thinking of trying to press your knees down on either side of your rib cage. You can rock a little here side to side. Let's set our feet down hip width distance, arms at your sides, and then lift your low belly so that your low back anchors, and then as you press into your bridge, can you lead with your tailbone? From here, let's inhale to extend the right leg up, and then can you lift the hips up a little higher? Cross right ankle over left knee. Press the right knee down as you lift the right hip up. Take an inhale, and then exhale to slowly roll it down. Let's hug the left knee into the chest, and we'll take reclined pigeon. All right, so just close your eyes here. We'll take 5 or so rounds of breath in our reclined pigeon. Sometimes it feels good to rock a little side to side. And then we can uncross the legs, give them a squeeze. Let's set our feet. We'll come into bridge pose once again. So lift your low belly, press your hips up. This time we'll extend the left leg up. See if you can press the hips up a little higher. Cross left ankle over right knee. Press the left knee down as the left hip lifts up. Take an inhale. Exhale to roll down, keeping the cross of the legs. Once your tailbone touches, let's bring the right knee into the chest, and we'll take reclined pigeon on the second side. Long, deep, steady breaths here. One more breath. And then hug your knees. Take your arms wide, palms up. Let both knees drop over to the right for a little spinal twist. exhale to drop them over to the left. Let's come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Give it one final squeeze. And then release into your Shavasana. Just letting everything go. Allowing the feet to flop open. And just relax every muscle in your body. And take one final deep breath in. And let it go. Gently begin to wiggle fingers and toes. And then slowly and mindfully, you can begin to press to a seat. You could rock over to one side to a fetal position. You could hug your knees into your chest and just kind of rock and roll up to your seat. And then we'll sit with a nice long spine, bringing hands to heart. Thank you so much for joining me today for this basic yoga flow. I hope you enjoyed it. Namaste.